Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Obscure Mics. It's me, Bark, once again, coming at you with another Obscure Mic video. Let's get that a little further out in front of me. I gotta apologize for something. So I'm no longer using the Zoom H6 to do any of my reviews with because one of the preamps were messed up in it. And it made a condenser microphone sound like absolute garbage. I'm gonna have to redo that video and it's still posted to this day, but we'll figure it out. So, no more Zoom H6 on the review channel. I'm going back to the Rodecaster Pro, and I'm just going to stick with it because that's just what I need to do. So, today we're going to talk about the Shure rs230 handheld dynamic microphone. Let's take a look at it real quick. All metal body, metal mesh grill that cannot be dented. Even if you hit it with your schmeckle, it still can't be dented. This thing's solid as rock. It is as sure can be. XLR port, no bells and whistles on this thing. And it's got a pretty good looking sexy capsule. I'm all about my good looking sexy capsules these days. And this mic has that good looking sexy capsule. So I've told you about the mic. I've shown you the mic. Let's go ahead and bring the mic over for a little meet and greet. And let's talk into the mic and see what it sounds like compared to the Shure SM7B, which I'm going to move out of the way right now. Okay, so now we're on the Shure rs230. And instantly in my ears, I hear a pretty solid sound. It's not as rich, not as smooth, not as dark, and it's dynamic versus dynamic, but this does give you that clarity, that Shure decent sound, even on the low end of the spectrum for their microphones. It's not bothering me. It's not wonderful, but I picked this up on eBay for $15. So if you can find this for that price, I'll tell you more later. I'm not going to give it all away right now. Something could happen and I could turn sour on this microphone. So, Peter Piper picked a patch of pickled pineapple pizza. Peter Piper picked a patch of pickled pineapple pizza. And when you get right on top of the rs230 from Shure, this is what it sounds like. When you get right on top of the Shure rs230, this is what it sounds like. Let's go ahead and do some off-axis rejection. Talking into the front of the microphone, spinning it around to 90 degrees, spinning it around to 180 degrees, and around to 90 degrees again, and all the way back around to the front of the microphone. Now, this microphone in particular, it is a tiny bit gain hungry, but nothing crazy. I've got it set to a 35, which is essentially around 55 to 60%, whereas the Shure SM7B, I've got on a 45, which is essentially about 75, 80%. So not as gain hungry, but like a dynamic, it is still going to require some gain to get it going. Now, you may notice me sweating profusely. I'm in my studio that has a window air conditioner unit, staring at it right now, and it's not turned on because it would ruin the video, and it's 94 degrees in sweet, sweet Ohio. Hope you're all staying safe. I'm about to have a heat stroke, but we will move on. So, real quick, again, since I've got a pop filter, Peter Piper picked a patch of pickled pineapple pizza. Peter Piper picked a patch of pickled pineapple pizza. Okay, just wanted to throw the pop filter test in there real quick. Thoughts on this microphone? $15 from eBay. Yes, it's not as smooth or rich as the SM7B, but I like the clarity of this. It's not really harsh up top, and the clarity is pretty good. This is a good candidate for a cheap podcast mic. So if you can find this for $15 to $20, I'm going to say green light on this because I think the build quality, the lack of offensiveness, it's not offensive, it's not harsh. It needs some lows, but adding a little lows to this thing definitely helps. I'll go ahead and show you how that helps real quick right now. Okay, so now I've got a big bottom on the microphone, and this is what the microphone sounds like once you give it a little low-end oomph. It's still not competing with the Shure SM7B. Make no mistake about it, but it does sound pretty solid. So now when you get on top of it, it even comes out a little bit fuller of a sound. Fuller. And now we're going to turn that big bottom right back off, and it gets a little thinner instantly. But again, not harsh, not unpleasant, not wonderful. Don't get me wrong. But for $15, this makes a pretty damn good podcast mic. Now, I want to say I am using the Rodecaster Pro yet again, because my Zoom H6 had an issue with one of the preamps. And one of the microphones, I'll just give it away. The PreSonus PX1, I'm going to have to redo that over because that issue with the preamp made that microphone sound thin and lifeless and worthless. So that thing's out of here. Back to the Rodecaster Pro. I should probably just stick with it from now on and not overthink things. I just get excited and I buy stuff. And I'm like, Zoom H6, Bronson uses that. I could use that. Portable. Easy. Piece of cake. Not so much. Honestly, the Rodecaster Pro is easier. So, Shure rs230, almost said 320, rs230. I kind of like it. I think it's a pretty good solid buy. But yeah, I rather like this microphone just because there's no major glaring flaw to it. Like, if you needed to record something in a pinch, this is going to do a pretty good job. Some EQ, some heavy EQ, more than just a little bit of a big bottom. And you could probably make this thing sound pretty darn good for what it is. Again, I don't hear a lot of harshness. It doesn't sound offensive at all. It's not muffly, maybe a little. It's just a solid, Shure low-end mic. I don't hate that because you can work with something like this. So, rs230, I think I already gave it the green light, right? Pretty sure I did. Yeah, I already hit that. That's what she said. Hopefully there's not pits of sweat right under my pits. If so, I apologize. Thanks for watching Obscure Mics. The rs230 is out. The Shure SM7B is out. The Zoom H6 is out indefinitely. And Bark is also out. Have yourself a merry little 94-degree day in Ohio or wherever you're from.